Hello, welcome back. So now in this part, we will design a brick pillar. So in this, we have to design a brick pillar using the conventional bricks, which is non-modular brick, to carry an axial load of 60 kilonewton. It means the load is given to us. So we have to design the dimensions of cross-sectional dimensions of the pillar, which will be suitable to carry this load 60 kilonewton. And this load is mainly consisting the roof and roof. In this roof, it is consisting RCC beams and slab. The height of brick pillar is 4 meter. So we can try to make the diagram of the pillar. So pillar is something like this, and on this pillar the beam is running like this, something like this. So this is the beam, and on this beam the slab is resting. The slab is resting, something like that. So this is the slab which is resting on the beam, and beam is resting on the column. So the load of slab and beam coming on the column, the load is 60 kilonewton. So that is the load which is coming on the column because of the beam and slab. And the height of pillar is also given, which is 4 meter. So this is the actual height of pillar, and we are using conventional brick. So that is the data given in this problem. So using this data, we will try to design the cross-sectional dimensions of the pillar, which will be suitable to carry this load. Now, the load carrying capacity of the pillar is, we already know that it is FP into cross-sectional area of column or pillar. So here FP is FB into KS into KA into KP, and cross-sectional area. Now we don't know whether this pillar will be rectangular or square in the cross-section. We don't know that. But here we are assuming that there will be two dimension. One is B into L. In case if it is square, L will become B. In case it is rectangular, then L will be higher than B. So that is the relation that we will be using to calculate the dimension B and L. And here W is already provided to us, which is 60 kilonewton or 60,000 Newton. So this is the relation that we will use to find out these dimensions. But before that, we are also required to find out FB, KS, KA, and KP. Now, if we take the FB value is dependent on the grade of mortar and the crushing strength of the brick. So now we know that conventional bricks are used. So we will assume that first class conventional bricks are used. And for pillar, cement mortar is having grade 1:4, which means it belongs to H2. So now we will use table number 8 to find out the value of FB. So these things I have written already. So you can see here, as the grade of mortar is not given, so therefore we are assuming that cement mortar 1:4 is used, and the conventional brick is having crushing strength 7.5 Newton per mm square. That is the strength having first class conventional bricks. And we also know that for pillar, we generally take cement mortar 1:4, and for wall, we take 1.6 respectively. Now, using the relation, as I said, safe axial load can be calculated by this relation. W is equals to FP into cross-sectional area of the pillar. We can consider this as equation 1. So this equation will be used later. So now here we will first try to find out the value of FP, and FP is dependent on these 4 parameters. So here first we will try to find out FB value, because it can be found very easily, because we know the crushing strength of the brick will be 7.5 and the grade of mortar will be H2. So I will show you now table number 8 and will show you what is the value of FB in the table. So here you can see we are using H2 mortar and the crushing strength of the brick is 7.5. So corresponding to this, the value of FB is 0.74 Newton per mm square. So again, going to the problem. So that is our FB value 0.74 by using the table number 8. Now we have found the value of FB. Now we will try to find out the second parameter, which is KS. And this KS will actually give us the dimensions of the pillar. So we can find out this KS value by using table number 9. But this KS is dependent on lambda. Now we have to find out first the lambda. But you can see lambda is calculated by using this relation h by b. H is the effective height, b is the effective thickness or least lateral dimension of the pillar or column. So here we don't know what is the value of b at this time, but we can find out the value of effective height. We know that for pillar, effective height is the actual height. Effective height is the actual height, and actual height in the problem is given, which is 4 meter. So effective height is known. If we consider the maximum limit of lambda, can we find out the least lateral dimension for this maximum limit? So in that case, we can say that b should be greater than h by 12, greater than or equals to h by 12. So here we know that h is 4000 by 12. So with this relation, we can find out the value of b, which will be 333 point something. So here I have done the calculation. So b value is 4000 by 12. And with this, we calculate the value of b as 333.33 mm. But we have to increase this value so that the value becomes the multiple of half brick. Now, as you can see, we are using conventional brick, and practically we can use either one brick or at least half brick. We can't use 1/4 brick. We don't take that in the design consideration. So either we have one brick or half brick. So minimum dimension of the brick wall or brick pillar can be half brick. So therefore, in case of conventional brick, the size of the brick is 230 by 110 by 75 mm. And this one length is considered as one brick. And half of this length is 115. So 115 mm is the least dimension, and we have to have the side of column such that it is the multiple of 115. So 115 into 2, it is 230, and 115 into 3, it is 345. So you can see 230 cannot be adopted because it is less than the required value, which is 333. So therefore, we will increase this value to 345. And we have increased this value to 345 so that it becomes the multiple of half brick. So while rounding off the value of these dimension, we have to make sure that the dimension we have adopted should be the multiple of half brick. Similarly, in case of modular brick, the half brick will be equivalent to 100 mm. So in that case, we should adopt the dimension such that the value becomes the multiple of 100. But because we are using conventional brick here, we have to increase the dimension, which is the multiple of 115. So now we have got the value of B. So we will assume that the cross-sectional dimensions of the pillar will be 345 by LMM. Right now we have got the value of B, but we are also required to find out this L value that we will see, we will find out later. But for the time being, we will consider that this is the least lateral dimension and L is the higher value. L is higher than 345. So therefore, considering the 345 value as the least lateral dimension, and now we can put this value in place of B to calculate the actual value of lambda. So actual value of lambda is 4000 by 345, and this gives us the value of lambda as 11.59. So now we have the value of lambda. We can now calculate the value of Ks by using the table number 9. So now I will show you the table number 9. So here we have the table number 9, and the value of lambda for our case, it is 11.59. So you can see 11.59 will be between 10 and 12. So corresponding to 10, the value of Ks is 0.89, and corresponding to 12, it is 84. It means the value of lambda for 11.59 will be between 0.89 and 0.84. So we have to do the interpolation. So interpolation can be done here for the Ks value for 11.59 lambda value. So this will be 0.89 minus the difference of 0.89 minus 0.84 divided by the difference of 12 minus 10 multiplied by required value is 11.59 minus 10. So this is how we do the interpolation. So I have explained this interpolation procedure in the previous in the earlier lectures, so you can refer that. So using this calculation, we can calculate the value of Ks now. So moving to our solution again. So the value of Ks using the interpolation we get as 0.85. So now you can see it is between 84 and 89, and Ks value is 0.85. So now we have found the value of Ks. Now we will try to find out another factor, which is Ka. So you can see we are actually calculating Fp, and Fp is dependent on Fb, Ks, Ka, and Kp. So here we will now try to find out the value of Ka, which is dependent on the area of cross section. But you can see right now we don't know the area of cross section. We know only one of the dimension of the column, but we don't know the other dimension. So therefore it is very difficult to find out Ka value right now. So therefore what we will see, we will see the maximum and minimum limit of Ka. What can be the minimum value of Ka and what can be the maximum value of Ka. Now minimum value of Ka will be when area is 0, and maximum value of Ka will be when area is 0.2, because we know this Ka value will be applicable up to this cross-sectional area only. So if area is 0, the value of Ka will be minimum. If area is 0.2, it will be maximum. So you can see here maximum value of Ka is 1. So if we put 0.2 in place of A, you can see Ka becomes 1. If we put A is equals to 0, then minimum value of Ka becomes 0.7. So right now we know the maximum value, we know the minimum value. So here for the time being, what we will do is we will take the mean value of Ka. Until we find out the second dimension of the pillar, we will consider this mean value. Later we will try to find out the actual value of Ka, but for the time being we will now find out the mean value of the Ka, which is 0.85. Now moving to the another parameter, which is Kp. So now you can see in the Fp calculation only Kp was left, and Kp is dependent on the type of brick. So in the question it is mentioned that we have to use conventional brick, and for conventional brick Kp value is 1. So now you can see we have found all the values, although Ka is the average value, but we will try to calculate actual Ka value later when we find out the second dimension of the column. So here we will now put all the values of Fp in equation 1. So in equation 1, we know W is the design load, which is 60 kilonewton, and Fp is the permissible compressive stress. Cross-sectional area of pillar is B into L. Now we know the value of B, which is 345. We know the value of FB, KS, KA, KP. Only L is unknown. So now after putting all the values, we will try to find out L value. So here only L is unknown. So now we will find out L value, and you can see L value is 325. Now we also again have to uh, increase this value so that the value becomes the multiple of 115. So you can see we have to increase this value to 345, and now this L, you can see L becomes equivalent to the value of B. It means the pillar so designed is a square pillar with dimension 345 by 345. Now had this value of L is say lesser than say 230, if it is less than 230, say it was 225, so in that case we again have to increase this value equivalent to the multiple of 115. So in that case this becomes 230. So in that case our problem will be reversed. How? Because you can see L value is 230 and we have taken B value as 345, and we have considered this as the least lateral dimension, but our problem would have been wrong because L becomes the least lateral dimension. So in that case we have to redesign the problem, but that is not the case in our problem. We have the L value as 325, which we have increased to 345, and now the L value will also be equivalent to the B value. So it means we have got both the dimensions of the pillar, and because we have got both the dimensions of the pillar, now we can actually calculate the actual value of Ka. So actual value of Ka, we will first try to find out the value of A, which is the B square actually. So this will be 0.345 and multiplied by 0.345. So we get the value of area as 0.12 meter square, and you can see it is less than 0.2 meter square. So therefore the formula of Ka will be applicable in this case. So putting the value of A, we get the value of Ka as 0.88. So now we will find out the actual load carrying capacity, because right now we know the actual value of FB, KS, KA, and we also know both the dimension of the pillar. So what will be the actual load carrying capacity of pillar, that we have to find out. So now we will say W actual, and it will be FB into KS into KA into KP into B into B. So right now we know all these value, and if we divide this value by 1000, then we can calculate, we can get the value of W in the kilonewton directly. So you can see here I have already provided the values here. So this is FB, KS, KA, KP, B into B. So all the dimensions are there, divided by 1000 to get the value directly in kilonewton. So you can see here the actual load carrying capacity of the pillar is 65, which is higher than the load which it is required to carry. So therefore we can say that the dimension of the pillar 345 by 345 is suitable to carry the load of 60 kilonewton, and hence we have designed the cross-sectional dimensions of the pillar. So that is how we conduct this design process in case of pillar. In the similar manner, we can design the wall also, but in case of wall, we will be, I mean, one of the dimension of the wall will be known, which is unit length. We are only required to find out the thickness of wall in that case. So that completes our design problem. Thank you.